Hello and welcome. I'm Natalie. Let's talk about money. So today we're going to talk about all of the scams that come through text. Well, not all of them, but a good portion, the highest number of scams that come through text. That's what we're going to talk about. See if you've been scammed and hopefully keep your eyes open so that you don't get scammed. So let's go ahead and go take a look. So there is good news and there is bad news and all the news together. So the new FTC Federal Trade Commission's data show that overall losses due to text schemes hit $470 million in 2024, which is 5 times higher than 2020. Now, yes, we are 5 years later. As we become more reliant on our cell phones, it would make sense that texting would be the next best way to scam people. So, there's a couple that really stand out, but fake package delivery issues and phony job opportunities were the most frequently reported in 2024. Now, this is all from an article dated April 16th, 2025 from the FTC on the FTC website. I'll put the link down below so you can go read the actual article as well. So the most commonly reported type of text scam was the fake package delivery, where scammers will send alerts about a supposed issue with an incoming delivery or an upcoming delivery that you've got. So they want you to click on a link, and then on that link, they'll ask for your password or your debit card or credit card or whatever. And so these are scams. And I believe that most people know about these scams. I was surprised by a podcast I was listening to, and this woman was, she's somewhere between 35 and 40, not sure exactly. And she was expecting a package to be delivered, and she got one of these scam texts. And so she went and she clicked on the link and she logged in, created an account, gave her debit card number, all the things, which we already know. If you have to give your debit card number for any reason, it's probably a scam. You should call the company that's supposedly reaching out to you. So the other one was the bogus job opportunities. So these are also really common, and this includes the text scams where promises of online work requiring people to complete a series of different tasks, and they end up being requests from people to use their own money to invest in some program or some, you have to pay $29.99 in order to get paid or whatever. All of that is scams. Don't fall for any of that nonsense. Now, of course, those aren't the only two. Those were just the two most popular. So there are also those texts that are basically just fade fraud alert messages that are sent to consumers warning about a suspicious purchase or an issue with your bank. And then again, you click on a link and it logs you into what appears to be your bank or what appears to be something valid. And then they get you because then you start entering information and you start putting in your real password. So then they take that information and they go ahead and they get into your account instead of you. And also the warnings about fake unpaid tolls with a link to pay those unpaid tolls. This is a scam that I had come to my phone. Well, it's come more than once now, but the first time I was skeptical because I don't take the toll road. I believe I pay enough taxes that I shouldn't have to pay for a toll road as well. So I just stay off the tolls. There's 2 or 3 main tolls here in the Dallas Metroplex, and I just stay away from all of them because I don't want to pay extra to drive on your road. I'm already paying you taxes to fix your roads. I don't need extra. But I did get a text and it wanted me to click on a link and then enter a login information. And so I went to the actual website, which for us in Northern Texas, it's NTTA, Northern Texas Toll Authority.org, I think, or .gov, or I don't know, .com probably. And so then I realized I don't owe anything, as I knew I didn't, but I did check and it was a complete scam. Now, if I was a toll taker and I was always on the tolls like so many people here in the Metroplex, I may have fallen for that trap because it seems so simple. Like, I owe tolls and this one is going to go old, or it's going to be bad or old or what have you, past due. So I would probably go ahead and click on it and pay it. But if you know, and if you keep track, and if you have an account with the toll road, you'll know that you get a bill, and you know that you've got plenty of chances to pay on that bill before they start texting and emailing and calling and all the things. And then there is, now this one I hadn't heard of, but this one, it was mentioned on both the FTC and the Better Business Bureau, BBB.com, and that is the wrong number scams that start as a seemingly misdirected message like, oh, I must have texted the wrong number. And they often evolve, basically, they turn into a conversation with some sort of romantic undertones that can lead to investments and other scams. So like the person will text you and you'll reply that you've got the wrong person or whatever, and then somehow they continue on with the texting, and it turns into somehow now they're attracted to you even though you have no idea who they are and they don't know who you are. And so then you start texting more and more and give out information, and then they want you to invest in their business or bring them from Venezuela to Minnesota or whatever. Like those are the texts that are seemingly the wrong number texts that are happening. Again, I haven't fallen into that one at all, but I have read about it now twice about these wrong number texts. Now the FTC gives some very basic information and some very basic advice for consumers on how to handle these text messages and scams. And so first is you are able to actually forward the scam or bad text to 7726, which spells out spam. So you can forward these messages on to spam or even to Google Messages app, for the Android users, which I'm an Android user. Now I have had my phone for about 2 years now, and I guess it must have been the previous person that had the phone number. I believe his or her name is Terry, because I get at least a minimum of 1 call per day for Terry. I don't know any Terrys. I don't care to know any Terrys, especially after all of my experiences. And I started out by picking up the phone, being polite and saying, there's no Terry at this number. You must have the wrong number, blah, blah, blah. And then it just continues on. So as they come up on my phone, and it's always a text though. It's usually not a call. It's always a text. And it says, hi, Terry, would you like to get a loan for a $50,000 business loan or some nonsense? And so I just right away block and delete those texts so that hopefully that number won't come back again. Now, when you just block a single number, of course, all the phone numbers that are related to that scammer can still be used because you've only blocked one number. So keep that in mind if you are blocking numbers as they come through. Other numbers are probably related to that same scam, and so you probably need to do something more like going to the 7726 spam message or like commenting or sending information back to Google Messages app. And if you have an iPhone, you can report the suspicious activity to Apple iMessages, the Apple iMessages app, or again, the Google Messages app for the Android users. So those are some options. I think probably forwarding the scam to 7726 or the word spam is probably the easiest and probably something that is easy to remember because it just spells out spam. I read from the FTC, again, it was dated in April. They basically had some very basic advice on how to avoid text message scams. So first they said, never click on links or respond to unexpected texts, which seems so basic, seems so obvious, but somehow people are still clicking on stuff, still giving away information. Now my mom has dementia and she loves responding to these fake texts and she does it every time. So now her phone number is all over the world and getting calls and texts from these fake scammers. Now, the good thing for her is she continues to lose her phone, and so then she'll have a break and she won't be, giving people money that she doesn't know who they are. So that's a good thing. But that's the basic information, is just never click on links, that are text to you or even respond to unexpected texts. If you don't know who's texting you, there's no reason to respond. Because if there's any business that has gotten your number through, some legitimate way, it will say what the business is, and it will have a seemingly legitimate website address that you're supposed to click on. I still wouldn't click on it personally. I still would go to the website, the company's website, and then search for whatever it is you got a text about, is how I would do it. And then the other major point, they gave a list of ways to avoid these text message scams, and I thought they were kind of cheesy and probably not something most people are going to follow. Obviously, not clicking on stuff is number one. And it's funny, I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent again. I also, at work, I tell my team, It's kind of a joke between us. Don't be clicking on stuff. Just stop it. Stop clicking on stuff. Because, of course, we get scams in our email at work as well. And so when they go clicking on stuff, they can, create havoc. And so then they got to, create a ticket with IT and all the things. So stop clicking on stuff in real life, too, not just at work. And then one other recommendation that the FTC gives is to filter unwanted texts before they even reach you. So basically block those unwanted texts. Any number that says spam or scam potential, or what are the other ones that they say? Potential scam and scam are the ones I see most often. But just filter those out, block those numbers. And then again, I would respond if it's a text through the 7726 response, because that seems like that might work. So avoid all of this nonsense that happens in texting. Pay attention to what you're clicking on. Pay attention and read the text that you're looking at. If it has some weird website like USPS1293.gov, that's not real. That's not real. Don't click on it. And I sure hope that you will invest in yourself today so you can make a difference for others tomorrow. Thanks so much, y'all. Y'all have a great one.